Captain Zixtal reviewed the intelligence report with satisfaction. The humans were perfect small, physically weak, with forward-facing eyes that suggested a prey species. Their homeworld's dominant predators were massive creatures called lions and bears, confirming that humans had evolved as hunted, not hunters. The Korthak Empire had built their expansion strategy on identifying prey species. Herbivores and scavengers made the best slaves docile, easily controlled, naturally submissive. Humans fit the profile perfectly. Initiate the harvest, Zixtal commanded as his ship approached the human colony on Kepler 438b. The first shuttles landed near the settlement's perimeter. The colonists, a few hundred humans engaged in peaceful farming, seemed to panic appropriately. They scattered like the prey species they were, running toward their flimsy shelters. Zixtal watched through his tactical display as the first capture teams disembarked. His soldiers were massive, 8-foot-tall reptilian warriors bred for intimidation. The humans would surrender immediately upon seeing them. But something was wrong. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "the humans aren't running to their shelters. They're regrouping?" On the display, Zixtal watched in confusion as the scattered humans suddenly converged on predetermined positions around the settlement. They moved with unsettling coordination, like a school of fish reforming after being disturbed. "No matter," he muttered. Prey animals often huddle together when threatened. The first capture team approached the main building. A human female emerged small, barely 5 feet tall, with soft features and no visible weapons. She walked directly toward the armored Korthak soldiers. "Perfect," Zixtal smiled, showing rows of predatory teeth. "She's coming to surrender." The woman stopped 10 feet from the lead soldier and said something in the human language. The universal translator rendered it as, "now." What happened next would haunt Zixtal for the rest of his life. The ground around his soldiers erupted. Humans emerged from concealed positions they had prepared not in minutes, but clearly over months. They moved with lethal precision, exploiting every weakness in Korthak armor that they had somehow identified without ever seeing it before. But it wasn't just their tactics that shocked him, it was their eyes. Those forward-facing eyes that he had mistaken for prey adaptation locked onto his soldiers with cold, calculating focus. These weren't the eyes of hunted animals. These were the eyes of persistence hunters, creatures that tracked their prey across vast distances until their target collapsed from exhaustion. The small woman who had approached his soldiers wasn't surrendering. She was directing the hunt. "Sir?" His tactical officer shouted, "Team Alpha is down. The humans, they're using some kind of projectile weapons." Zixtal watched in horror as humans fired primitive kinetic weapons with impossible accuracy. But worse than their marksmanship was their behavior. They showed no fear, no hesitation. They moved through the battlefield like apex predators who had done this countless times before. One of his soldiers, wounded and trying to retreat, was systematically tracked by 3 humans. They didn't rush in for a quick kill like proper predators should. Instead, they paced him, taking turns maintaining visual contact while he exhausted himself, exactly like persistence hunters. "Send reinforcements," Zixtal ordered. The second wave of shuttles launched, but the humans were ready. They had somehow anticipated the landing zones and prepared accordingly. Zixtal realized with growing dread that these creatures were not just reacting to the attack they had been expecting it. A communication came through from the human colony. The small woman's face appeared on his screen, and those predators' eyes stared directly into his. "You made a mistake," she said calmly. "You assumed that because larger predators exist on our world, we must be prey. But you missed something crucial in your research." "What?" Zixtal whispered. "We're the reason most of those larger predators are extinct. We didn't survive by running from lions and bears. We survived by hunting them until there were none left. The transmission ended, and Zixtal's tactical display showed the awful truth. His ground forces weren't just being defeated, they were being systematically hunted. The humans had turned his invasion into their hunting ground. "Sir," his navigation officer reported, voice trembling, "we're detecting multiple human ships approaching. They're not fleeing the system. They're coming toward us."
ZYXTAL understood then that he had made a fundamental error. Humans weren't a prey species that had survived despite their world's predators. They were the apex predator that had driven everything else to extinction, and now they had spread to the stars. "Retreat," he ordered. "Full retreat." As his ship fled the system, ZYXTAL filed a priority update to Korthak Command. Classification error on species 7834. Humans are not prey. Repeat. Humans are not prey. Recommend immediate reclassification to Class A Apex Predator. Avoid at all costs. Behind them, the human colony continued its peaceful farming, their children playing in fields that had just been the site of a perfectly orchestrated military operation. And somewhere in the depths of space, other human colonies received word that a new predator species had revealed itself to the galaxy. The hunt was about to begin.